Can we say that any fresher can also become an GenAI engineer, or is it still needed for fresher to have the foundation skill of software engineering?
Those are the core concepts of software engineering, right? So if you do not understand all this, you will not be able to go in the ladder. So I think you will just hit the ceiling very, very fast if you skip the fundamental.
If agentic AI comes into coding, I was wondering like, do we still need to have prompt engineering? Do we still have to do Gen AI? Because agentic AI is so much smart to do the job on behalf of humans.
Let's be clear, prompt engineering is still required because without prompts, you cannot create agent.
Do you think that AI will create another AI itself in the future?
It can be that smart, yes, but if we let to do that.
Hello, everyone. In this episode of podcast, we have Suparna, a software engineer who aspired to be an AI engineer back in 2016, 2017. She thought of going and do masters from Germany. After completing her masters, she went and joined a firm in Germany where she worked as an ML engineer, and then she moved to UK where she is working as an AI engineer company called Synomy. Let's welcome Suparna and get to know the AI journey of hers and how AI is evolving into the tech space in these days. Hello, Suparna. How are you?
Hi Keshav, how are you? I'm
Thank
so
you.
good. Thank you for
Thank you.
having
It
me.
was really great to have you on the show. We will get to know a lot about AI and the evolution of AI, your experience with AI, how tech is evolving in AI. Suparna, we are having this term, we always listen that there is AI, there is ML, there is deep learning, there is data science. I don't know why these terms exist. I mean, what's the difference between them? I totally don't know. Can you like, I mean, are they interconnected or no, it is not? Or is it a part of a big system
They
where they do particular jobs and then they are connected?
Right. So you are right. It's like they are part of a big system and they connect each other and like so if I like try to make it more
Mhm.
simpler, AI is just a broad concept. It's like artificial intelligence. You can think it's artificial. So it tries to mimic the human
Okay.
intelligence. So any system can mimic. You can call it like AI. But now, how to mimic? You have to know some how what are the methods
Right.
and stuff, right? So now then comes these all like specific terms. ML is for machine learning. This is like a particular kind of algorithm that can learn some pattern from a historical data. You have some historical data from your sales and you want to predict what will be the next month's sale. So you to get all the data, train a model, and you want to predict what will be the future
Mhm.
sales. So this is like machine learning. And then deep learning is another it's a special kind of machine learning which was actually inspired by these human brains, how our brain work. If you think in human brain, we have multiple
Yes.
neurons and they are connected, and that's how they are wired. So we try to like have this similar
Mhm.
structure and try to create a network, and we it is deep because we have multiple
Mhm.
layers. So that's why it is called
Deep
deep
learning. Mhm.
learning. And we found that this kind of actually structure, this network are so good to understand very complex problem. For example, an image, a big video, or our speech
Mhm.
recognition. They can understand like very complex pattern from the
Mhm.
data, which is not possible by a human looking
Mhm.
at the image. For example, if you give your image and your brother's image and you train
Mhm.
model and you want to detect Keshav and his
Mhm.
brother, so how it knows like the facial feature
Mhm.
of you and facial feature of other
Mhm.
people. So the model can learn all these complex pattern. That is what deep learning came in. And now we have seen this GenAI, all this stuff. So GenAI is actually a deep
Okay.
learning, but the goal here is different. It is trained to completely generate some new content. It can generate audio, it can generate video, it can generate image or new text you want to generate. And how what to write to your love letter to your girlfriend, I don't know. So you are thinking what should I do, you can ask write me a proper love letter in some tone. So this is like generating new content. And among all this, data science is not part of this umbrella, I would say, but data science is very, very crucial
Okay.
part to learn these models, because data science takes all the data, analyze them, like clean them, tried what is the pattern. So it prepares the data set so you can train your models on this data. So data science is all about all about data.
Got it.
I am talking about you took your last month data, but how you will train? You have to take all the last month data, have a cleaning, properly process them. So these are all about data
So
science.
once the data has been cleaned and processed properly, then we pass those data to machine learning to train over them.
Yes.
Got
And then comes also the evaluation. Like you have to know which model is works better, which is not, how to evaluate that this model is actually working or
okay.
not. So then
What are
also data science
models?
comes. Good question. What is model? So model is just a set of
Okay.
parameters. It's a number, it's a floating point number, so it's called weights. So it's a set of
Mhm,
parameters. You give the data and it does some
mhm,
calculations from the data, understand the feature, it sees that which pattern it
mhm,
is. So based on the pattern it tries to either classify or
mhm,
predict your sales or
mhm.
something. So these are a set of number, you can say.
Got it. So then we talk about
Yeah.
LLMs. Like then what? LLMs are model? No.
Yeah, this is model, large
Uh,
language model. This is also
so
another
why it
model,
is
right?
called large language models? Why the term large is there?
Right. So the parameters we just talked, it's a model is a set of parameters. So initially when this deep learning came, we had some like some 100 parameter, 200, thousands, 1500. But now we were in thousands. Is large language models are in billions
Okay.
parameter. So this 1.5 billion, 3 billion, 7 billion. So that's why it is called large, because the model size they have increased. They are like trained in so many GPUs over 1 month
Mhm.
sometimes. Normally deep learning you take 1 day, 2 day, overnight you can train a
Okay.
model. But these large language models are so huge, and they have been trained on so huge amount of internet scale data sets. So yeah, that's why it's called large and language models. Now I hope it is more
Yeah, it
clear.
is. So I think, as we can say, back in those time when GenAI was not and LLMs were not, we can say that AI was getting trained on the deep learning data models that we have, and they are very shorter. Now with the GenAI coming into
Yeah.
picture, we are training them on the LLMs, that is like large parameters we pass to them. So they have
Yeah.
a big set of parameters and data to be trained on.
Right. So they have increased the data set and they have increased the model parameter. One is the data set. Initially, you can think of a data set 1000 image or 5000 image or 25,000 images you are training or data. Now you have like billions images it is training or billions of sentences, blogs, video transcription, anything you find in internet. You have trained GitHub, Stack Overflow, what not. Like everything you see in it is trained on billions of amount of data with billion parameters in the network. So that's why it is called large, and it takes so much time and so much resources, these GPUs. That is very crucial to train these
Okay, so
models.
that is what they talk about. Like whenever the deep sea came into the picture, they were talking about how many time it is taking, how many resources it is taking to train.
Yes. It takes so much cost and so much time. I would say mostly cost, because time is like you can decrease the time by
Yes,
parallelizing them, parallelizing the
yes,
training. So I would say mostly cost. It's a cost and time trade-off. They are trained on huge number of GPUs, and these GPUs are very costly. And NVIDIA is another bringing with more efficient
yes.
GPUs. So this is a kind of reinforcement loop I see. One side is trying to decrease the compute power, like required compute power, but another side they are saying, okay, we have now built a better GPU, you can train on that.
So I think we talk about like the evolution of AI, right? How it was from formal foundation models to how it is getting into rule-based models and into LLMs. So we can say that this is how AI is evolving. Where do you think the future of AI after LLM?
We have seen actually always some transformations. If I look back in the history, before it was like rule based system, then came some machine learning algorithm, like some random forest decision tree. These are like if else kind of thing, but it can learn pattern. Then came this deep learning, which was, and there was some breakthrough in computer vision, and they found, oh, this can be, we can even now do facial detection, we can do image detection, we can do object detection, all these stuff. Then came this transformer architecture. So that was another revolution for in language processing. So they can understand our language, so we can talk to these models. It can understand the context. So the main thing in language, if you see, like when we talk about some like we are doing now chit chats, we have some context, we know what we talked before, and we will reply based on that, we can reference. So the models did not have that knowledge But now with the context, models have knowledge. What we are talking about, it understands. Oh, you talked about that person before. Are you talking about the same person now? Is it like that? Now it does have context, and now this came with transformer architecture. I would say these large language models are becoming, that is like a base of all these models, these large language models, the transformer architecture. Now maybe we will see something else. I think what we miss now, it's like there is a cutoff of in the training. That means if the language model has been trained today, and if something happens to tomorrow, it doesn't know what happens tomorrow. You have to tell. If you ask something ki what happened, for example, let's take that the model was trained until Trump was elected, and it did not know that Trump was elected. And now, if we ask something, what about that? The model won't answer. So there is a cutoff problem. I can see it, maybe in the future we will break that problem also. So it can you feed that information, it automatically learns the whole, and you don't have to give that information again. Maybe we will see something like
Okay.
that.
Like earlier, it used to be AI was all about maybe ML operations, deep learning, model tuning. Now it's all about LLMs, training LLMs in GenAI, right? So that with more training, GenAI come up with their own intelligence and give us more own generative content.
I would try to set the problem in a different way. So basically, it's not like
Mhm.
that. Everything which we had before, like the MLOps, data pipeline, data processing, then training the machine learning models, everything is there. It's about like finding the right tool for the right job,
Okay.
right? So if you use something which is not relevant for that, you cannot use that.
Exactly.
With GenAI, we have a new era, new set of problem. It was not before. That doesn't mean it is not replacing the old
Mhm.
ones. GenAI is supposed to generate new content. It is not supposed to do all sort of problems where you have facial detection, you are doing image recognition. Think of like in autonomous driving, you have to understand the scene, you have to track the lanes, you have to do some path planning in autonomous
Mhm.
driving. They have to do in milliseconds. You don't have to time to do all
Officer.
these
Yeah.
predictions in a large language model, right? And because these language models are large, they takes time. It's not a millisecond thing. So you have to understand what problem you are
Mhm.
tackling to, and based on the problem you will choose the right model. So I would say everything is there which was before, based on the problem you are
Mhm.
solving. With
Mhm.
GenAI, it's a new era. We have a lot of new opportunities with that is unlocked,
Got it.
because we can now ask any question. You can generate any
Mhm.
content which used to take like hours or
Mhm.
days. It now takes some minutes, or which was used to take weeks. It is now in hours. Like deep research.
Mhm.
Talk about deep
Yes.
research in ChatGPT or in Google Deep
Gemini. Yeah.
Research. You can like browse so many different resources, find all the data, summarize them, generate a report
Mhm.
for you. So it's like for different tasks. I would not say it has replaced anything. It is a different. They have unlocked a different
Mhm.
opportunity for everyone.
Understood. So if can we say that the difference between a Gen AI engineer, or can we say an AI engineer is Gen AI engineer? No, they're different. Gen AI engineer is different. AI engineer is different. ML engineer is different in terms of skills.
In terms of skill, actually, GenAI engineer is like more specific, as this term says. It's a GenAI, so you will be you are expected to work on mostly in GenAI. But if you talk in AI
Mhm.
engineer, it is again an umbrella. You can, based on the problem, you may need to know GenAI, plus you need to know normal machine learning, deep learning, how to train those models, and all stuffs. And yeah, I would like to actually mention one more thing. So with GenAI, we are seeing all these big players that they are actually publishing these models, and they have created all these API. You can just tap into their API, you get a response. So you don't have to actually take the burden of training the models, and you don't have those possibility, because small farms or some individuals, they don't have those big resources or GPU,
Correct.
right? So you cannot train your own
Mhm.
model, and so you use someone else's model, and it is just available via some API
Mhm.
call. So I think that's why it is now AI is now more accessible for
Mhm.
everyone. You do not need to know all these deep technological things or machine learning expertise, how the models was trained, how the data was processed, how it was evaluated. You may not need to know everything, how they build the
Okay.
model. You only need to know how to use the model. What is the input you are giving? What is the output it is you are
Mhm.
getting? How to process the output? What the output means? Very simple stuff which can be like easily understood by some software engineer or some fresher also.
How you interact with their interface. You just
Right.
give them input, get the output, do whatever you want to do with output.
Yeah. So the GenAI engineer is mostly about using those LLM API and orchestrate your, or I would say, automate your system. So you are solving some problem, say customer support. In customer support, you can integrate those LLM API and try to summarize all the customer calls, and so that the customer agent, they do not need to go through manually everything. They can just get all the report for a issue and see what happened and then just pass the results
Okay.
back. That's how, like, the GenAI engineer's role is mostly to understand what are the LLM
Mhm.
available, what they can do, and how they can integrate those LLM into your business
Amazing.
problem. So you have to know, okay, this is my business problem, this is where I can automate the
Hmm.
process which is now
Hmm.
manual. So you can just use those LLMs.
GenAI is a part of the big umbrella that is AI, and
Hmm.
so anyone who is a part of GenAI or who is a GenAI engineer, they don't have to care about the models. They just have to care about like what input they're giving, what output they're getting from different models, and how they process
Hmm.
those output to fit to the need of the business.
Exactly. And what are the new models available? So there are, every time Anthropic or this
Hmm.
Gemini or ChatGPT, the OpenAI, they are like releasing new models, and that has some new capabilities like agentic capabilities or something. So they have to be on the edge. What is happening around the world? Which model to take? What problem they are solving new? And how they can build the whole orchestration workflow for their business. It can be any business, it can be CRM, it can be anything, marketing tools, or it can be sales, anything, it can be anything.
Okay.
So the GenAI engineer can has them.
So if that's the case, can we say that anyone, like any fresher, can also become a GenAI engineer, or is it still needed for fresher to have the the foundation skill of software engineering to become an AI engineer or GenAI engineer? I think AI engineer is too deep of the concept, right? But to become a Gen AI engineer, is it really needed to have that foundational software engineering skills?
Yeah, it is possible to tap on this kind of role, GenAI engineer, or I'd say junior
Hmm.
GenAI
Hmm.
engineer, because you still need
Hmm.
all these fundamentals. Because when you will go up on the ladder, the expectations will be
Hmm.
different. The expectations will be to understand the business need, to understand the scalability, reliability, all these kind of things, that how your system
Hmm.
works. So at that point, you are supposed to know how the whole system design works, how the software design works,
Hmm.
right? What is the data structure, algorithms? Because even though you are just tapping into the LLM API, the rest of the
Hmm.
methods, how you use them, you have a big context. How do you manage the context management, memory
Oh,
management? Those are the
core.
core concepts of software engineering, right? So if you do not understand all this, you will not be able to go in the ladder. So I think you will just hit the ceiling very
Got
fast
it.
after, if you skip the fundamental.
I think that goes for everything. As you said, like, I bang on, I vouch for foundations every time. And you said, like, even for GenAI engineers, if you don't have the foundation, you will hit the ceiling very fast. So, but we talk about GenAI engineering, where we talk about data. We talk about AI engineering, where we talk about data. With the data, it comes to my mind that backend engineers are one who handles a lot of data, traditional software engineering system in any SaaS-based operations, right? Front end consumes the data, backend basically does the crude operations, and they have the database and they have the hold of data. If anyone who wants to move from backend engineering to AI engineer, how easy or difficult it would be for them for the transition? What roadmap they can take if they really want to pivot to an AI engineer?
I think this is a good question, and actually, if you are a backend engineer
Mhm.
already, you have most of the skills already in your plate. You are good at many of the
Mhm.
things, like this API, understanding the
Mhm.
databases, generating a system designs, how to call another APIs and expose API, all those stuffs. These are very crucial if you think of any AI product in
Mhm.
productions. You have to maintain all these. system reliability, versioning, CI/CD, everything is there. So you have to know everything. Now coming to how can they can pivot into these roles. Of course, first the GenAI engineer will be the very quickest path to pivot
Yeah.
in, because as I said, that is like the you do not need to know the very technical understanding of models, mathematical concepts, and all those stuffs. And then another path is also it can be like AI platform engineer or MLOps
Mm-hmm.
engineer, because for MLOps you need all those software DevOps understanding
Okay.
also. Along with that, you just need to know how to do the like model versioning. Generally, you do code versioning, right? You have an artifact, you do code versioning. You also need to do how to do model
Okay.
versioning, how to do data versioning, because data is crucial in machine
Sure.
learning. If your data gives different, model output will be
Mm-hmm.
different. So how to maintain those feedback loop. That means when you have some output and you have deployed the model in the
Mm-hmm.
production, it gives some prediction. You want to see if the prediction was true or false, right or
So how
wrong. That is a
so how to
feedback.
do that?
So that is like if you are deployed a recommendation model in the
Mm-hmm.
production, you show some recommendation, user did not click or not
Mm-hmm.
click based on the user feedback. When you open your
Mm-hmm.
Netflix and you see some movie and you did not click, or you clicked and then again after 5 minutes you just
Okay.
closed, that can be a negative signal. So that is like feedback
Okay.
loop. They have shown you some recommendation, you are the user, you have taken some action against that
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
recommendation, and that action is recorded as a feedback for the model.
Okay.
So that is called feedback loop. So they can be retrained
Mm-hmm.
again to
Mm-hmm.
navigate the changes, the dynamics, right? So all these can be, I think, the path for a backend engineer easily, either a GenAI engineer or a AI platform
Mm-hmm.
engineer and or a MLOps
Mm-hmm.
engineer. And GenAI engineer is the fastest path. For that, I can give you a like very straightforward
Mm-hmm.
roadmap, which is first is understand what is GenAI, what are the
Mm-hmm.
models. You can just see what OpenAI is doing, what Claude is doing, then Gemini. They give you like free access, free tokens, right? You just try to explore different things in their
Mm-hmm.
platform, and when you understand that what they can do, they cannot, then you go to the API level from the web
Mm-hmm.
UI.
Mm-hmm.
So far you are working
Yeah.
web UI, now instead of web UI going to the API
Mm-hmm.
level. So you can now you know how to call their
Mm-hmm.
API, because API and the platform is different. I can tell you, like in the chat
So just
GPT, if you use the GPT-5
yeah.
model, the GPT-5 in from the API
Mm-hmm.
level, it will give different output,
Oh.
because in the chat GPT they have integrated with so many tools. It's a complete product. It's just not the model.
Oh.
The model has multiple tools. Means, for example, you ask a question, can you give me details about what is the
Mm-hmm.
demographics in Germany for
Mm-hmm.
something? Okay. For this answer, it may require to do some web
Okay.
search. Do we need to do it web search that the model will understand? And how to do the web search? That is like a
Mm-hmm.
function. That is a tool.
Okay.
Okay, you have to do a browsing. You have to scrape all the
Yeah.
data. So that is given in the chat GPT, and they have many similar other models like planning or something. You have to make a
Mm-hmm.
plan. There you have to think more or
Mm-hmm.
less for the model, all these stuff. But API they do not have. You have, it's on you how you want to navigate. You want to make some tool call or some not, all this
But
stuff.
in that
So
case,
you can give your own tool even.
okay.
You can write a
Mm-hmm.
function and you say call this function when you think this function is relevant for my answer.
Okay.
You can like do that.
So we can say that we will have some control over the OpenAI internal architecture with the API if we just consume API, because we will give them the tools like right now, like, okay, you have the data, you have the models, but use this tool for this particular task, for this particular function.
Yeah, you can do that when you are calling the
Okay.
API. So you can add different
Mm-hmm.
tools, which maybe it can be a Python
Mm-hmm.
function, it can be some other another
Mm-hmm.
API, it can be some in a database call
Mm-hmm.
even in your own
Mm-hmm.
data. So you can just give all the tools and summarize that what the tool is doing, and then the model will understand should we call this tool or not. So this is one like extra. As there are more some similar features you can do with API. So the API will you will see different output. I have seen myself, and you will see different output. And I have also talked to one of those engineers who are from
Okay.
OpenAI, and they also explained how the why it is
Okay.
different. Why I said API is needed, because you can web UI is for those when you as an end user, you cannot build
Exactly.
something from the UI, right? So you need an API. Now after you are comfortable with the API, maybe try to build something very basic, like I don't know if you have heard of RAG, which is a retrieval augmented generation. It's a new
Okay.
concept with
Mm.
LLM. So simply RAG is when you ask a question to this
Mhm.
ChatGPT, if it is about your
Mhm.
data, which doesn't ChatGPT doesn't know, then they cannot answer. For example, if you have some data, what did you do, or how you have a company, how the company is running, what was the sales, or
Mhm.
right? They don't have ChatGPT doesn't have the data, for example, so it cannot answer. But if you want to answer, if you want ChatGPT to answer on your own
Mm.
data and not just some random things or not
Mhm.
hallucinate, then you can actually give create a DAG means you have to create a database for your own
Mhm.
data. And when you call the model, when you have a question, first you go to the vector
Mhm.
database, take all the relevant context from the vector database, and then pass it to the model and ask the model, given all this context, can you answer my
Oh.
question? It's like two version. One is you ask a question directly, can you tell me
Mhm.
this? And another is, can you tell me this given all this
Mm.
context? Now given all this context is coming from your
Correct.
data, because right, so that's why in the second example it can answer, because you are giving it the right context to
But
answer.
isn't it like we talk about when we talk about using the OpenAI or any other Gen AI that hey, like the more context we will provide to them, more accurate they will be able to provide to us the response.
Right, right. But how do you get the context? If you ask a simple question, you can just hard code in the context in the prompt
Mhm.
itself.
Mhm.
But if it thinks of a billions, think of, say you have a thousand
Mhm.
documents from your
Mhm.
company. Will you put all the documents in
No
one
way.
chat?
Mm.
Like that's not possible,
Mm.
right? That's where it comes. Like you have a complete data set, and you want to use your own
Mm.
data. Think of a big company, they have their own
Mm.
data. So in that case you have to build your own database. It's mostly vector
Okay.
database. So vector database, when you ask a
Mm.
question, based on the question, it can understand, when you call the vector database, it can understand the semantic
Mm.
context. Like if you ask about your sales, it will go into the all the sales related
Mm.
report. You may also have some other
Mm.
report which is not
Mm.
relevant, so it will get all the relevant context chunk of the, in fact the chunk, if you exactly ask which year did it happen, it will understand some exact report on
Mm.
the, so it will get all these relevant chunks from the vector database and only send that in the to the model, because you cannot send 1,000 paper reports in the
No way.
prompt. So that's it.
With using AI tools, the report says that 19% of people really slowed down while using AI tools as in their software development jobs. They believe that they got faster, but actually they got slowed down by 19%.
And is it only for like all kind of all engineers, junior to senior, all
So
level
this
of
says
engineers?
like with using tools like GitHub Copilot, junior engineers and the senior devs are really getting benefit out of it. But mid-level engineers, they got slowed down. So, like anyone who is just getting into software development, they are into very fast because of GitHub Copilot because
Mm-hmm.
they just need to prompt it and they get the response into it.
Mm-hmm.
But a
Mm-hmm.
mid-level engineer is really getting slowed down by the using of those tools.
Okay, I'm not 200% like, but just the intuitions coming like uh, junior engineer. If you think they are mostly worked in a very well-defined problems, right? They very standard problems, and these AI, sorry, GitHub Copilot and all these Claude, these models, they are very good at well-defined
Mhm.
task. If you it give you have to write an algorithm for do some kind of decision tree or something, some algorithms, right? So they are very good at well-defined tasks, generating some boilerplate code or writing some test cases or test right. So I think the tasks junior engineers do are mostly the AI is mostly good at it now at this
Yeah.
point. They can do those tasks very well, so they can get the results. If you think for the senior engineer or bit mid level, your task gets more open
Mhm.
ended. You do not know exactly what to do. You have to navigate to different complex
Mhm.
problems to find the right architecture, maybe design document, or making a trade off between your complexity, latency, and some other
Mhm.
things. So all these stuffs becomes more open-ended and complex. I think AI is now not that it cannot do in good judgment there, and it requires a lot of context to do the
Mhm.
judgment, which you need to provide in the context. So first you need to spend time to gather all the context, put it in a proper
Mhm.
way to
Correct.
prompt, which really requires a lot of
Exactly.
time. So I think that can be one reason to make them slow
And then if
down.
the requirement changes, you again
Yeah, if the requirement changes, then it is very bad in like adopting new
exactly.
requirements. So
Yeah.
we have to
And
have
if
the
you don't
context.
know that what that code has been written to you via GitHub Copilot, you don't know where to make changes.
Yes, because your mental
Yeah.
model. So the mental model of the LLM. So maybe initially you wrote code from your language model, and now you have to make some
Mhm.
changes, and you ask them to do it. It may create a bug, or it will be very hard to verify
Correct.
if you do not know the mental model, why they created multiple functions, who are calling the functions to whom, and at what point. And so I think that is how it can get complex, in that manner. So yeah, I would say actually you have to deal it in different way. So one is of course is the context. That is a very very big thing. And this cursor, that is the problem they are tapping. They are actually indexing the whole repository, whole context, all the documentations, requirements, spec, everything, so it can easily understand it. What when you change of a
Mhm.
requirement, what are the relevant other requirement that might get affected.
So,
Yeah.
as an engineer who is knowing all the parts of the system, that is being done by the cursor itself by reading the documentations.
Yeah, but you have to put all the
Obviously,
documents, then it can
obviously, yeah.
index.
Again, from the same data, people who are over 40 in the software development jobs, it takes longer for them, I think more than 3 months to find a job compared to other
Mm-hmm.
peers who are in a, whose age group are into 30s or who are into 20s. I
Okay.
think that makes sense because who are like having less age, they are more energetic. People who are into tech and they are above 40, they cannot sit idle. They have to find a job, right? They also have to be relevant in the market. So how to be that relevant? What advice you can give to them in this era of AI, where they can be still relevant in the market?
If you go over 40, the kind of position you will be
Mhm.
looking is like more senior positions, right? You will not be going for a SD1 or
Correct.
SD2, like, and those positions you will be looking for some project manager, or maybe some team lead, I don't know, tech
Architect, yeah.
lead. So those kind of positions are by its nature are lesser, right, than the normal engineering
Mhm.
positions. So after 40, your like your domain or your search space gets smaller, and that's why the competition can be tougher there
Okay.
anyway. So it can be one reason. But apart from that, you have to stay relevant, because nowadays you see like this AI and tech everything, there are new frameworks coming, new libraries coming, new ways of
Mhm.
doing. It is not really like before in
Mhm.
90s. There are a lot of changes and dynamics, so you have to stay
Mhm.
relevant, because companies now don't look for just years of experience. They actually look for the skills you have at the current
Mhm.
stage. So you have to stay relevant. That means don't even though you are getting older, you have to change your mindset, keep the hands in the craft, like maybe see the news, what is happening around the world, what are the new frameworks coming, what are the new versions coming, new features are
Mhm.
changed, how they are doing the things. So I would say, yeah, don't stop coding. If you stop
So
completely the coding, and if you just go from completely management, then it will be very hard to get into coding or understand
and that's a
those
very typical
things.
mindset of managers. Like they just stop coding. They think that they become managers now, which I think is not a good
Right.
sign, right?
Right. I have actually seen both kind of manager
Yeah,
in my
please.
life. One manager who actually was, oh, you are the manager position, you are, so you should not stop. You should not do coding. Like she was actually guiding a junior manager, assistant manager, whereas another manager who was in VP
Mm-hmm.
position, he was doing
Mm-hmm.
coding. He created all the PRs, and he pushed in the GitHub and all. So he said, no, coding is something. I am a software engineer. I am maybe in different level. I am still a software
Correct.
engineer. That mindset you don't should let
Yes.
go.
Do you think in your company they are really providing the skill sets, or they are helping their employees to redesign, or they helping their employees to upskill developers to become relevant in this era of AI?
I think so. That is very much relevant in the era of
Mhm.
AI. But it is not completely or only the burden or only the responsibility of the company only. It is also the individual's responsibility to take the initiatives, get those learnings, get those
Yeah.
skills, and bring those culture in the company so other people can get the awareness. So I do think that if you want to stay relevant or make competitive, you have to actually upskill. And these companies, they should also introduce like role specific path. That means if you are in the development and if someone is in the marketing or in the sales or in the product, the learning path with this Gen AI can be
Mhm.
different. They, because the kind of work you do in your day-to-day job will be different, so how to integrate those AI tools into your workflow to get some real benefit, that will be different. So they should like tailor the learning frameworks, learning path for different
Mhm.
teams in that way. Yeah. And and then they should not like think of, okay, we are like experimenting with new tools, we are losing some time. That mindset should go. So they have to foster this or encourage to experiment with some new tools, give some time to on experimentations, and then adopt.
Got it. I think which is very primitive thought to not experiment, because most companies they don't want to experiment. They just want to go with the whatever solutions they have. But that mindset has to be
Yeah,
changed now.
exactly.
So, what industries do you think that Gen AI will, disrupt or replace the existing software systems, or where it will just be an assistant? Like right now, we're using Cloud Code Cursor to help us, but any industry where it will just completely disrupt. I think that customer support is getting more of, you know, replaced by AI.
I would say not fully,
Same. Mhm.
semi
Mhm.
automated, because at the end, if you there are some escalations, you have some
Mhm.
complaints, you wait for the AI agent talking 5 minutes, you spend time, you get frustrated as
I
a
did actually.
customer, and
I
it
did
will.
actually, because when you talk, because they have some limited points to make on the call, if they understand, right? If your problem is out of it, you're in loop. You cannot get out of it. You still need human. You still
Exactly.
need.
Exactly. I have faced this so much. Like they give, I is this problem with this order, that order, this order, but no, I none of it is my problem. That is, and yeah, they stuck. So I think no, we will see this. It will be semi-automated. Like some of the which are the task which is very standard, that will be taken by AI. But then you have to also have those customer agent who will actually handle the edge, the narrow
Got it.
problems.
So, do you have any relevant tools that you know about where people like we know about software engineering because we code, but what about PMs? What about marketers or writers? Do you know any tools that they can use for their uh, business for their
Yeah, actually nowadays if you see all kind of tool, all most of the tools that we use generally, like from Jira to Figma to Adobe
Mhm.
or Canva
Mhm.
for this design and marketing, or you use Zoom
Mhm.
calls, Fathom. Like for most of the tools we already use in this for in software engineering or project management or marketing deck creation, presentation
Mhm.
creation, you have some tools and they have integrated already. They have integrated with the LLMs. They have integrated with GenAI, or they are giving you the feature to use the
Mhm.
GenAI. All you need is to stay updated that what are the new AI features they have used, like even in Notion also they have like AI, all these AI features in Notion, right? So similar to Confluence, so you can actually see what are the which tools are giving, and most of the tools you use, I think they already have integrated from Google also have Google Analytics, Google Docs, they also have the Gemini integrated
Mhm.
with that. Excel sheet also have, so most of them actually have integrated, so you just need to know that how to use them
Maybe it is
properly.
the reason why big tech who are having multiple platforms for a business, they're coming up their own AI because they really want to help their users to use those applications with
Yes.
the AI, make the business, make the work ease for their users.
I mean, if they don't, then they will be disrupted by new man.
So, okay, with this, like we're talking about perplexity right now, right? And we're talking about Gemini and Google Chrome. Where do you think that, like, who will win the market? It is like Gemini or Anthropic or Grok or OpenAI, or a new player will come in in the market as an open source? Because I think OpenAI is not open source.
No, OpenAI is not
DeepSeek
open
is
source. Gemini is also not open source, but they have some open source like Gemma models, which are small and you can customize them, small parameter task specific. I think even 1 or 2 days back they released one Gemma
okay.
3. So yeah, they are not open source because they are in the frontier, and these I think no one single going forward, no one single provider will win the
Mhm.
match but or win everything. It's sometimes for some particular task one model is very good, like so far Claudio was very
Mhm.
good in
Mhm.
coding, but for some other task like normal answering or
Mhm.
explanation, so I found Gemini gives very good results in analytics or explaining something
Deeply.
proper. Whereas I found ChatGPT or GPT-5 or GPT 4.0, they were very good in giving you structured response. Like if I want in
Mhm.
JSON with this field, it just give me that. It doesn't give any extra field, which makes automation easier, because if you try to automate, you need to parse them, right? So depending on different tasks, this some are doing better, some on the other. Because if you see when they releases all these models, they evaluate in lot of benchmarks in math, in physics, in some health problems or doctors, and so many different problems. So depending on the problems, I think there will be one or the other winner. Going to the if we talk about this open source, they are actually not in this race. They are doing different things. They are actually releasing their whole model plus the code base, so you can train or customize based on own your data, and you might need some small model to run on mobile, so you cannot run big model on mobile. So like on device AI and all these things, for them I think this open source llama 3, Mistral, yeah, Queen, then DeepSeek, they are doing those
Got it.
good.
So I think, but DeepSeek is no more in the market right now. Because it came in January. It was like,
Yeah,
oh wow, such a thing. But now it is no more in the news.
I think they, I today itself I saw a news. They just delayed their new release because of some chip related
Oh,
things.
okay.
Okay, yeah.
So like, what is agentic AI? Suparna, I think we talk about Gen AI. This new term agentic AI. What is that?
In ChatGPT, we have all used ChatGPT. You ask a question, it gives an answer.
Mhm.
That's it. So with agents, you just don't ask a question. Rather, you give it a task. Like for example, sort all the emails from it. It will be connected to your email, Gmails. It will find all the emails to create a reply for this kind of emails and send, or at least make a draft for
Mhm.
everything. Or you can even schedule some meeting with the. So it's like taking an action on behalf
Mhm.
of you, and you are instructing what are the action you need to do for what and when. Agentic AI has this language model. Along with that, it also, if you remember, I was talking about
Mhm.
tools
Yeah.
before. So you can give multiple tools. So you can actually attach, okay, call an weather API or call this
Mhm.
API, integrate with Canva, get the marketing design template
Mhm.
from there, and attach it to your in the
Mhm.
draft. So it's like it has all these access to connect to different
Mhm.
tools, and so it can take action. So agentic AI is just
So
that.
it's a one
So
step ahead of Gen AI.
yeah, it can take action. So if I again go back to the software, with just one
Mhm.
example. So in just ChatGPT can tell you that how to fix a bug, whereas agentic AI can actually find the bug, write the fix actually, and create a PR for you.
That seems very powerful. If agentic AI comes into coding, I was wondering like, do we still need to have prompt engineering? Do we still have to do Gen AI? Because then if the agentic AI is so much smart to do the job on behalf of humans, can it do the job on behalf of software developers? Think of next pattern, next move to make. Can it do?
Let's be clear, prompt engineering is still required, because without
Mhm.
prompts agent cannot you cannot create agent. To create the agent you need to prompt, you need to write
Okay.
prompt. So who will create the agent? You as a developer will create the agent. Agentic AI is it's a concept. You have to understand what is
Mhm.
agentic AI. You create agent for your different tasks, and or try to automate your whole
Okay.
process. So when you create the agent, you need to write proper prompts. You need to create the ecosystem. Maybe give it access to connect to your database. Then give it access to call an API. It should have the API key, how to call it, how to
Mhm.
parse it. It should have access to another agent maybe. So you can have even multiple agents who are talking to each other for different purpose. So yeah, I think going forward we will see more agentic workflow in software engineering, but human has to be there to verify the output at different
That's
step.
true.
Because if you think from this beginning to the end, it is like the software development life cycle. So there is first the requirement gathering
Mm.
from
Yes.
BRD, business requirement document, then you have PRD,
Mm.
product, then you have to create the UI UX,
Mm.
everything. So then you have to generate
That
the
is
whole
true.
low level design, high level design, everything, right? So at every point, maybe a human can have to
Mm.
step in, verify the input or verify the
Mm.
output, and give feedback until it is in the
Mhm.
final version.
Okay. So there is still a long way to go, no code AI interactions. Like it will be still take a lot of time. There is still interaction is important.
Interaction is definitely important. I am not seeing anywhere that it will be completely automated, like from the scratch to a production. It is deploying in the production. No, I am not seeing anywhere like that.
Do you know that the news came from the China that they are having robots and everything? Like they were building robots.
Yeah, the robo
Yeah,
match
the
you are
robot
talking.
match.
I
Yeah,
saw the
yeah.
one. Yeah,
Right?
yeah, yeah.
So I was really wondering, I was wondering that will it happen that those robotic automation will have those cognitive automation also, that intelligence also. And if it help, then where it will, disrupt the market. Logistics maybe, because in what we call it, in the
Yeah,
logistics supply chain, where they really want,
yeah, yeah.
oh, I'm forgetting the term. That term is warehouse,
Warehouse,
right? So
okay.
they will be having robots everywhere in the warehouse to make the shipping going and everything.
If you know that Amazon has already billions of some in their warehouse, they have already deployed billions of robots. They are doing all
Mhm.
different tasks in their warehouse. Yeah, in logistics, okay, I can make some like understanding that if it is a very wild environment which is outside it, like there are a lot of failure points, you have network
Mhm.
sensor, bad weather conditions is that time here I think the robot will
Mhm.
not be, it will not be completely
Mhm.
autonomous. But in very controlled environment like inside logistics, things are at this point, it's not being, it's not dynamic every time. or Robots are doing specific tasks, like one robot for packaging, one robot for take moving the boxes from one shelf to another
Mhm.
shelf, one robot verify the
Mhm.
labels. So they are different doing different tasks and very controlled
Mhm.
manner. So that in that way you can scale it. If it is a very uncontrolled unconstrained environment, there can be anything, and it will, if something goes wrong, then it's just not an error message or something, right? It will actually hurt people, it can damage some physical constructions or building or
Mhm.
anything. And so I think not complete disruption, but a little semi automation, that's
Okay.
it.
But that leads to another question that is like, if right now we said like there are, if like in a very wild environment, if there's a lot of failure points, it may not be a good position to have robotics. But what if in the future when they evolve, when they get better? That connects me to the, the godfather of AI statement, that is Geoffrey Hinton. The risk of AI, how seriously we take these concerns. I have another point to make, which I will make after you, give your input to this particular point.
So Geoffrey Hinton actually opened up about this risk of AI, and he left Google, I think, in
Yeah.
2023. And I think his main concern about this AI and the risk is that one, all about these deepfakes and misinformation, spread of misinformation, deepfake. How can we know something is real and something is fake? That is actually a valid risk and valid point, and happening a lot even
Mhm.
nowadays. Another was, I think, the job loss. There will be some job loss. I mean, let's be honest. I think there will be some job
Okay.
loss, but I cannot say how much and all. But yeah, that is a valid concern. What you can do, you have to be on the edge and know what are the things going on, how to use the AI properly, so you are not the one targeted. So, and another main concern, the big long-term concern Geoffrey Hinton made is now there are so many AI systems. If they connect, if they are all interconnected, they might even be out. They can be smarter than us, and we will not be able to handle what they are doing. They might even generate a new kind of language to communicate that human cannot understand. We will not be able to understand what one agent or one system is talking to another system and what they are planning to do and what. I think that is a concern for that he made. It's a long term thing, although, but I see that for developer or for everyone else, the main action point is take some. We should do some governance, how to use those AI, and country level the governance, like the, for example, this nuclear weapon, we have a nuclear deal, nuclear treaty, and all this, right? So it's the same similar way. We should also have some maybe regulations how to use this AI, how to not to, because it can be, if it is on the hand of bad people, they can actually do many things. You can never know.
There's always a regulation, right? I mean, it's everything.
Yeah, it's with everything.
So on the other hand, yes, there will be job loss, but there is evolution of the job loss. So for example, if I have to think in a way, like back in the time when there was no Excel, MS Excel, right? People used to do things on the calculators. People used to think things
Yeah,
on
yeah, yeah.
registers.
Hmm.
Excel coming, people moved pivot to Excel. They learned Excel, and the
Hmm.
business grew. So there is more business,
Yeah.
there is more productivity, there's more efficiency. I think there will be job loss. So people leave a job in a particular sector, they will migrate or move to another sector. They will work in that. Because if there will be job loss, there will be impact on the economy as well. Because we don't have money in the pocket.
True.
If we don't have money, we cannot
True.
spend.
Yeah, you are right. You are right. Like if there's job loss, then they will be have less spending
Exactly.
capacity. That will actually yeah, impact the economy. That's true. But I'm just thinking it can be migrated, and it will be moved to completely different kind of job maybe. But it may take also a lot of time. So for example, you are a computer engineer, you know how to do all these things, and suddenly you are given with a complete different systems. You may need to completely learn all those new skills and all those stuff. So yeah, it can be moved to, maybe, yeah, you are right, it may be moved to a completely different way of doing
Do
it.
you think that AGI is coming like we are talking about, artificial generative intelligence that is there, but what if the ASI will come super intelligent, as in way intelligent than human beings?
Yeah, it for me it still looks like a sci-fi movie, honestly. I don't see I will see it in my lifetime, as at
Okay.
least. I mean, if it is ASI, it means human. It's not just a model which is better than before with some percentage, or it is good at some doing some math test, or can play chess or something like that. ASI means it can like make some revolution, like it can solve completely open-ended scientific problems. No cancer, no such things, like
Correct.
right, these bioweapons and all. They can do
Correct.
anything. They can maybe change the universe, how to go to the another planets, and something like that.
Hmm, that's true. But on the other hand, like they will also train based on they get intelligence, right? They get intelligence from we human beings, and they will get to know like how we behave or how we
Mhm.
think, how we work, how we put things into action. So, so
Right.
their intelligence is will be directly related to our intelligence. If we not doing things correctly, they will definitely not do things correctly. They being
No.
super intelligent, they will screw us. Right? I mean, that's one side where they really think of beating the cancer, really develop more scientific revolutions, right? On the other hand, yes, they can be catastrophic as well.
They can be catastrophe, right? Right.
But really excited to think about these things, right? I mean, we are living in an era where anything is possible. Like with every day, new things are coming. Like I'm really looking forward to super intelligence. What will happen, and how humanity will thrive?
Really?
Yes, and how humanity will thrive. Either it will thrive a lot because then they will grow a lot faster. It will be very another dimension, or it will just destroy the humanity because there will be no humans if they get into in a catastrophic way. If they move into catastrophic way.
Yeah, whenever anything comes, the new invention, it always has some bad and good sides. It's just how you apply it. And yeah, I mean, if it destroys humanity, I'm not sure how honestly, if I just looking how practically will it be possible, because at the end, all this language model, everything which you see
Mhm.
now, they are still a pattern prediction model. So whatever data we feed in, they try to understand that data, they can try to predict what is the next token, next word, like that. But if we stop feeding new things, if we stop exploring or giving new kind of
Mhm.
problem, how these models can completely understand the world and take a new problem on their own. So I'm not sure how it might happen
Okay,
even.
no problems. I mean, like, do you think that AI will create another AI itself in the future, or no? Like AI will be that intelligent, that smart to create another AI system.
It can be that smart,
Okay.
yes. But if we let to do that, we may have heard that AI is getting smarter on their
Hmm.
own. But still, we have the steering wheel. Means we give it a goal that you have to be more accurate on this particular dimension, and that is a goal we give. And what it does, it's a automatic optimization. It tries to optimize itself by trying many
Hmm.
different experiments, different parameters, tweaks itself, and tries to just get better, better, better. So at least we give it a proper, we give the goal. But if we let the
Hmm.
agent think of their goal itself, and then they work on their goal and try to make it themselves better, and we are nowhere in the loop, then I think it can go in any
Okay.
direction, because we do not know what are the goal they are setting, on what goal they are working or optimizing
Okay.
for. That can be possible technically, but if we want, if we'll just let them
It's
completely
up to
open
human
ended.
then. But I think
Yeah.
human are too lazy to not do it. They will definitely do it. So I think we are like coming to the end. But I really wanted to ask few questions on that. Like, if someone really want to start now into AI, right? What's the ideal roadmap should be? Like anyone who is a fresher or anyone who really wants to become an AI engineer who is in his high school, right? What things one should focus on from statistics, maths, whatever the thing that you really want to give a roadmap to the people.
Okay, if someone is in high school, it's a very good roadmap we can give, because he's still in high school and there are a lot of path, right? I think first of the foundation is
Mm-hmm.
math. For understanding AI ML model, how they work, you need to have good grasp on linear algebra, then calculus or derivatives, then probability,
Mm-hmm.
statistics. These are the three main pillar in maths you need to understand. And then you have to understand this machine learning fundamentals. What is machine learning? What are the different ways of training, supervised, unsupervised? What kind of data they train on, what are the optimizations they do, and like all like machine learning fundamentals, everything about that. Then comes this deep learning framework and all. But while you are like reading or doing it, you can take, if you're in high school, you can work on your maths right now, and after that you understand these machine learning concepts. You can either take some course or do hands-on is definitely required. After that you will start doing something hands-on, take some data sets. There are, I can give like open possible, like free, open source, like Kaggle. There is a Kaggle platform where you will find lots of data sets, and there are lots of notebooks or experiments, Kaggle experiment or Kaggle challenge. There that's are going on. So you will see other people also putting their work forward. You can see how that work. And it's a very very good learning platform, Kaggle, for understanding machine learning, data science, AI. And then you have all these GenAI stuffs. So we already talked that GenAI is rather simple. It is not that complicated. It is rather simple. First, you understand how to apply this GenAI on your own work, and then maybe if you want to go now deep, then you have to go how these language models work, how they are trained, what are the internal architecture. If you want to go next step, like that is like more in the core AI/ML, I'd say. So yeah, you can think of in this way: math, data science, little bit more, then understanding the ML concepts, then go in the deep learning, do some hands-on, do some projects, college projects, and then yeah, understand GenAI, how this large language model works.
Everywhere we talk about AI, the space AI is consuming is very much gray. They talk about both positive and negative aspect, but I really want to, being an optimistic, I really want to think it as in a positive way. What hope AI gives to you,
Yeah, we have talked about a lot of concerns. I also have a lot of concerns, honestly, although I am in this space
especially.
from last 6 years. But the way it is, I am listening, I have concerns. Mostly in the, I would say, in the data center, and these like water requirement, and these environmental impacts that is happening. Okay, apart from that, coming to the track, what I am more hopeful about, actually, have seen now the democratization of AI. Means I before, when I started in 2018, People didn't, when I talk to my mom or any other friend who are not, he doesn't understand what is AI and why it even matters. But now they are actually using AI day to day life. They talk to this GenAI. Oh, I have to use with this GenAI, with this Gemini, or with this ChatGPT. So now everyone in the society, no matter what you do, what is your profession, if you have an internet connection, you can tap onto these large language models. You can use GenAI for your own different work, and you can talk to it very
Mhm.
naturally. Now you not only are limited to writing some text, you can even click a photo and ask, can you tell me what this photo is of, or use maybe some particular sign, you do not know what it is about. Maybe you're in a new country, you do not understand that language, you take a photo and
Yeah,
ask, can you please
yeah,
and so you have lot of now opportunities to it. Now the barriers are
right.
gone. You don't have the barriers. You are from a small village, you do not know the language, or you do not have those
Mhm.
skill. You are not in medical, you cannot even understand your medical
Mhm.
report, this medical terms, legal terms. So I think that is a big thing. It is in everyone's hand now. Yeah, I think that is the first thing. I am very hopeful. And another is, I think AI will also help us to accelerate the scientific discovery, more proteins and these drug discoveries, and a lot of things happening there. I was hearing those news, so I am a little hopeful there also.
And that leads to the another question, which is like when more of AI is into the game, when more of the AI is into our life, what any skills that you think which will be more valuable, human skills that will be more valuable, because we feel surrounded by the AI itself, right?
I think first of the thing that is, because now AI is doing how things, like what the technical things are, the heavy lifting. First is critical
Mhm.
thinking. You have to be a critical thinker. You have maybe have some seen some newses like ChatGPT asking to divorce your wife for something, some silly reasons, or you have heard to, okay, can I use eat stone? They say, yeah, you should eat stone for your daily routine, for your gut or something. Like sometimes it just bullshits, right? So you have to be a critical thinker. I am just giving such funny examples, but in general, you have to be critical thinker to understand whatever you are getting the output from these
Mhm.
models. Is it actually making sense? Is it aligned to your ethics, your goal, or it is in the bigger picture? So that is
Mhm.
first. Second is, I think you have to be more empathetic with the human and the leadership or this persuasion. These are the skills like that doesn't come from any data, any model, or
Mhm.
anything. You have to have those human to human
Mhm.
connections. So otherwise, everyone will be just like feel like robot. But we have some emotion. We will should not feel like
Mhm.
robot. So this humanity and connections is another
Mhm.
thing. I don't know. You have to maybe open minded again for some to see something new. We have seen these ChatGPT and big revolutions. We might see something
Right.
new. So be adaptable with whatever comes, but keep your own like fundamentals
Mm.
strong and don't let it go with anything.
So, with tech is growing, we get a lot of. If you see the evolution of human beings, right? When there were more resources, we become less violent, and I
Hmm.
think this will continue to grow. With AI coming into picture, I believe that there will be more resources again. With the more resources, we
Yeah,
humans will be more
true.
kindful. We humans will be more empathetic. We humans will be more into creativeness or the some bigger questions that we'll find to try.
Yeah, like it's also creativity. Like you have to find very different problem. I'm not talking like artistic creativity, create a design or something. Like think of in bigger
Exactly.
picture. What are for the humanity? What are the problems we need to solve for the bigger
Yes.
humanity? So yeah.
Great. Great. Now it's a time of rapid fire or something. So yeah,
Okay.
your favorite AI tool right now. I mean, so far, your AI
Mm-hmm.
tool, the favorite AI tool so far.
Okay. Favorite AI tool. I think it's a tie between Gemini and ChatGPT. They are like my everyday partner to do anything like brainstorm any idea or do some structure to my documentations, create some report, do some deep research, all this stuff. So I either use Gemini or use
Got
ChatGPT.
it. Any book or documentary that influenced you for your AI worldview?
No, there is no such single book or documentary, but I would say I am very much into this AI news, getting to know what is happening, because that is the way to go. What is happening and not what happened in past, but getting all the AI news, new releases, new research updates, and how they are even being applied to different business use cases, to see that okay, someone there is a new model, but if the new model is actually helping any of the business, any sort. So that's like, that's how it helps me to be updated, or yeah.
Or any bold prediction that you have for like by 2030, what can happen in AI?
Bold
Yes.
prediction. I think by 2020
Mhm.
30, AI will be so much integrated in our everyday daily life that we will not even recognize it as something differently. It's like our internet or electricity now. We realize, oh, we have electricity now?
Yes.
No. So something like that. And another thing, actually, I also think that in the education
Hmm.
system,
Hmm.
mostly everyone will have their own AI tutor, means personalized own AI tutor. If you think, every student has different cognitive ability, they are not in the same
Correct.
level. Not every child is different, but generally we put in the same classroom, where someone grasp things very quickly, someone have
Hmm.
difficulty to
Hmm.
understand. But now going forward, we will have their own AI tutor, which will be more tailored for their own cognitive
Hmm.
ability.
Great.
Yeah.
Thank you, Suparna. It was really lovely talking to you. Getting a lot of insights about AI, knowing what is GenAI, what is ML. It was really wrapping up the things, I mean, unwrapping up the things, which was, I think, very much connected, but still different terms in our mind, right? Thank you so much for lightening us and giving us those.
It was so great, Keshav. So much deep questions you have asked. I had, it made me think so many different topics. And thanks so much. I really enjoyed. I hope it also helps
Yes,
someone.
I think it will
Yeah.
help our viewers. And I really hoping to again host you in the future. So we'll have again a good session in the future.
Yeah. Good chat.
Good
Yeah.
chat.
Okay.
See
See
you.
you. Bye.